We have learned again that democracy is precious, democracy is fragile. At this hour, my friends, democracy has prevailed. Given a fair shot, given a fair chance, Americans have never, ever, ever, ever let their country down. Never, never. Ordinary people like us, who do extraordinary things. The 21st century is going to be the American century. Because we lead not only by the example of our power but by the power of our example. That is the history of the journey of America. I will defend the Constitution, our democracy, America, and I will keep everything I do in your service, thinking not of power but of possibilities, not of personal interests but of public good. The predicaments currently facing the nation are historic. Few Americans have found a time more challenging than the time we are in now. We will be judged, you and I, by how we resolve these cascading crises. I believe we will, and write the next great chapter of the American story. This is absolutely bizarre that we continue to subsidize highways beyond the gasoline tax, airlines, and we don't want to subsidize, a national rail system that has a positive environmental impact. And today, we marked the swearing-in of the first woman in the American history elected to national office, Vice President Kamala Harris. Don't tell me things can't change. Recent weeks and months have taught us a painful lesson. There is truth and there are lies. Lies told for power and profit. Each of us has a duty and a responsibility as citizens. I know speaking of unity can sound to some like a foolish fantasy these days. I know the forces that divide us are deep and they are real. I also know they are not new. Politics doesn't have to be a raging fire, destroying everything in its path. Every disagreement doesn't have to be a cause for total war. And we must reject the culture in which our history has been a constant struggle between American ideal that we are all created equal and harsh ugly reality that racism, nativism, fear, demonization have long torn us apart. For without unity, there's no peace, only bitterness and fury. No progress, only exhausting outrage. No nation, only state of chaos. This is our historic moment of crisis and challenge. Unity is the path forward. This is America's day, this is democracy's day, the day of history and hope. Today we celebrate a triumph, not of a candidate, but of a cause. Chuck Graham, state senator, is here. Stand up, Chuck, let him see you. Oh, God love you. What am I talking about? I am a gaffe machine. But by God, what a wonderful thing compared to a guy who can tell the truth. You know, during World War II, Roosevelt came up with the War Production Board. Look, John's last-minute economic plan does nothing to tackle the number one job facing the middle class, and it happens to be, as Barack says, a three-letter word, jobs. Jobs. When the stock market crashed, Franklin Roosevelt got on the television and didn't just talk about the princes of greed. He said, look, here's what happened. If John McCain wants to know where the bad guys live, come back with me to Afghanistan. We know where they reside, and it's not in Iraq.